It's time to start your morning by taking 5. Here's your host, Matt McMaster.
You're listening to Take 5, quick 5-minute take on the biggest things happening in Nebraska sports. I am your host, Matt McMaster, and yesterday marked a very important day in sports. It was a day where the NBA playoffs were not on. The NHL playoffs were not on. The college baseball playoffs were not on. College softball playoffs were not on. And the only thing that was going on in the sports world was Major League Baseball. And so I turned on 2 TVs yesterday, and I went through different games around the league and watched some pretty good baseball games. But what I was taken aback by was the amount of young talent Major League Baseball has right now. Well, not just young talent, but young talent that is performing at an incredibly high level. I saw Paul Skeens, who's 23 years old, carve through the Houston Astros. I saw 23-year-old Pete Crow Armstrong hit baseballs all over the park and then tear up the bases in Washington. I saw Jack Caglione, who's 22, make his debut for the Kansas City Royals, and then I saw their 23-year-old superstar hit a home run. Okay, Major League Baseball is in an incredibly healthy spot right now in terms of superstars, young superstars, and growth of the game. Okay, back in the 90s, there were 40 million people watching the World Series. Last year was 13.5 million. I'm acknowledging the fact that baseball's popularity over the last 30 years has declined. But what has been the complaint over the last couple of years about this generation and the game of baseball? Well, the game is too long, right? It's too boring. Where kids are too distracted. It's just the game is it's an old person's game. It's a middle-aged person's game. You're not growing enough fans. What did Major League Baseball do? And we give Rob Manfred a lot of credit, or a lot of we don't give him a lot of credit. But in this case, I think we have to give him credit because he broke against what baseball was rooted in. He broke against tradition. He added a pitch clock. He changed rules to have more guys run bases. He banned the shift and said, no, we are going for more action. We are going for more fast-paced stuff. We are going to try and get people out of here in 2 hours and 20 minutes. And they've done exactly that. From 2022 to 2023, the increase in attendance in MLB was 9%. From 2023 to 2024, they increased attendance again only by 1%. The game is growing, and I think that these young crops of superstars that they have right now is better than the National Basketball Association because the NBA has a real problem. The NBA has young stars like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Halliburton, and I'm sure I'm missing a couple there, Victor Wembanyama, and we haven't latched onto these players. We haven't grabbed onto these players. We don't hear too many people going, "Oh, I'm a Jason Tatum guy." Well, why is that? It's because the old guard of the NBA is still there. Steph Curry is still playing a high level of basketball. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, still playing high levels of basketball. We are still kind of in that era, and while those guys are still performing at a high level, we're paying all this attention to them, and we're not paying enough attention to the younger stars. And if anything, we're being a little bit too negative to the younger stars. Look at Major League Baseball. They've had a much smoother transition from the era of Jeter and Rodriguez and Clayton Kershaw and Justin Verlander. I know that 2 of those guys are still in the league, but they're not dominating at the level they used to. And now we have Shohei, and now we have Aaron Judge, but then even behind them, we have these electrifying young stars in PCA and Skeens and Witt Jr. and Caglione. And they are spread across big markets, small markets, medium markets. Look at the Boston Red Sox, right? Roman Anthony is going to be a superstar there. That's your big star, right? You have the biggest star in the game in Aaron Judge in New York. You have the biggest star in the game in Shohei Ohtani in LA. They are across the map hitting all of these different parts and all of these different markets with stars that we are now going to be able to see grow. And so I think baseball is in an incredibly healthy spot. I would go as far to say that they are in a healthier spot now than they are than the NBA. Now look, NBA still pops a better rating, okay? The NBA is still getting higher view rates total, right, across the NBA Finals, or at least more consistently. At the same time, they have a real superstar problem. The MLB does not. The MLB does not at all. And while the NBA is losing viewerships in the NBA Finals, and while the NBA their ratings are dropping throughout the regular season, the MLB is growing. And I think that is something that we have to give that league a lot of credit for, because we had a lot of complaints about the lack of marketing. We had a lot of complaints about not enough superstars are getting out there. Not enough people know who the top players in the MLB are, and they are solving that problem, and they've solved that problem by doing things so much differently than what they've done in the past. And when a league and an organization changes as drastically as they did and changes so many rules that we wouldn't even have thought would have been changed 30 years ago, you have to give them credit for when positive progress is showing. And positive progress is being shown in the MLB. I've been Matt McMaster, and that's been Take 5.